will confuse them to come to the market.
Congratulations to the media. You have done incredible work.
In Daniel, it will shock you what it does.
The Senate observed that PPP has consistently engaged in underhanding.
Position, you don't for Africa.
When your brother is producing something and you patronizing your brother.
Listen to Planet's 101.1 FM news at 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. with our news in special English at 2:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Planet Radio 101.1 FM, revolving around you.
Do you need a great hotel in the heart of...
It's the news at noon. In the news, presidency says federal government will not sponsor 1,411 delegates to COP28. Nigeria partners U.S. to strengthen security. SERAP terms N15 billion naira allocation for a vice president's residence as Wasteful. On a foreign scene, Somalia floods, death toll rises to 110. And sport, Joao Felix scores as Barcelona beats Atletico Madrid in La Liga. Details coming up shortly. Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. I am Rachel David White. Our first report this afternoon is that the presidency has said only a handful of 1,411 Nigerian delegates who registered to attend the COP28 climate summit in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, was sponsored by the federal government. The presidency explained that a bulk of the contingents comprised private sector players such as business people, civil society organizations, and delegates from Nigeria's oil-producing Niger Delta region. It also argued that the delegates were at the summit to promote their respective causes and not for jamboree. Their response follows social media uproar over the significant presence of Nigerian delegates at the ongoing United Nations Climate Conference in Dubai. While noting that a large contingent from Nigeria was not solely government-funded, the President, Bola Tinubu's Senior Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Temitope Ajayi, said it is important to state that delegates from all countries, whether from government, private sector, media and civil society group, attended COP28 summit and conferences as parties, and the members of attendees is registered against their countries of origin. Away from that, charged the affairs of the United States Embassy in Nigeria, David Green, has said both countries are working closely as partners to strengthen security and ensure stability in West Africa. Green said this in an interview with the newsman in Abuja. He described Nigeria as a strategic partner to the U.S., given its top position as a regional power in Africa. He stated that Nigeria is a strategic partner because of its weight in the African region and the challenges in the Sahel and West Africa. He added that the U.S. is providing support to Nigeria in furtherance of its pleas, reform and capacity building aimed at delivering justice transparently. According to him, the U.S. is working with Nigeria on a program to reduce the number of individuals that are in pre-trial detention, looking at the rights of those individuals in prisons and correctional facilities in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the federal government says it will soon commence the disbursement of funds under the 125 billion naira presidential palliative program targeted at alleviating the impact of the removal of fuel subsidies. Doris Azoka-Nite, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, disclosed this in a statement, noting that the program consisted of the Presidential Conditional Grant Program and the Presidential Palliative Loan Program. She stated that in the Presidential Conditional Grant Program, the federal government will disburse 50,000 naira to nano businesses across the 774 local government areas. Reports say the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment and Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, will collaborate with state and local government, federal legislators, federal ministries, banks, and other stakeholders. It will also disburse 75 billion naira to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises across various sectors, and 75 billion naira specifically to manufacturers. According to a report, the loan would be administered to the beneficiaries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. From the Green Chambers, a member representing the Ibadan North Federal Constituency in the House of Assembly, Adewale Akinremi, has assured Nigerians of the speedy passage of the 2024 appropriation bill submitted by President Bola Tinubu last week. Akinremi described the budget as well detailed and realistic in a statement he signed and made available to newsmen today in Abuja. He said that the National Assembly will work with relevant ministries, departments, and agencies of government to ensure that the budget is passed as early as possible for ordinary Nigerians to benefit. The lawmaker also insisted that the president did not submit an empty box during the budget presentation last week and called on opposition parties to stop misleading Nigerians. He described what he tagged as allegations of the president submitting an empty box as childish and misrepresentation of facts. In the meantime, the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee, probing alleged misappropriation of COVID-19 intervention funds by ministries, departments, and agencies, has uncovered several irregularities in the presentation made by some health institutions across the country. This was the committee chaired by Bamidele Salam, representing a day north and a day north, Bedore Ejibo Federal Constituency, Osun State, said some of the alleged infractions were capable of earning the accounting officers jail terms in the nation's correctional centers or costing them their jobs. Following the findings, the committee therefore rejected their presentations, describing them as cooked up. This is as it directed them to reappear before relevant document to substantiate their claims. According to reports, some of the health institutions concerned are the Federal Medical Center, Azare, Bauchi State, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Calabar, Cross River State, Madibo, Adama University Teaching Hospital, Yola, formerly known as Federal Medical Center, Yola, Adamawa State, and the National Orthopedic Hospital, Dala, Kano States. In another development, advocacy group, Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has thwarted plans by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to spend 15 billion naira on a befitting residence of the Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. The group also described a 2.8 billion naira budget for public publicity, stressing that the spending was unnecessary and wasteful. SERAP expressed its opposition to the budgetary allocation in a statement by the Deputy Director Kolawale Oluwadare Oluwadere urged the Senate President Gatula Pabio to use his constitutional authority to reject the plans by Wike to spend such huge money on what he described as unnecessary and wasteful, especially at a time when the country was battling a rising debt profile. The group described that a sum of 7 billion naira had been initially allocated for the purpose of building the vice president's residence, and it would not hesitate to institute legal actions against the National Assembly if it fails to stop wasteful spending and continuous borrowing by the federal government. Back here, residents of Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, have expressed dismay over the continued hike in the gas prices, noting that it has increased their financial burden, leaving concerns about the economic implications and the resolution resultant strain on daily lives and businesses.
First, watching the price of gas skyrocket from the 350 naira we knew to 500 to 940 naira. It has affected even some households that use gas, especially the students.
Before, gas was like 400, 300, 500. So as time goes on, they increase the price of gas. Now it's 1,100, getting to 1,500. It's really affecting us. We're selling food.
The removal of fuel subsidy increased the demand for gas. It was just going well until gas became a very scarce commodity.
Currently, pump price of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, also known as cooking gas, is sold at 950 naira per kilogram in some places at gas plant stations, as other local marketers dispense the commodity at higher rates of 1,200 to 1,500 naira per kilogram. Speaking with Planet FM correspondent Wangfon Walter in an interview, a cross-section of Uyo residents expressed their grievances about the effect of the hike on them. They therefore appealed to the government to consider alternative measures like reinstating subsidy price regulation and exploring alternative energy sources that would alleviate the impact of the hike on citizens.
I think the government should take a step. People are suffering. We heard of removal of fuel subsidy. Well, I might not be in support, I might not be against removal of fuel subsidy, but I think if we must remove fuel subsidy, the money discovered from this subsidy should be used in either renovating or building a refinery.
The majority of people now, they use gas.
I want the government and all relevant stakeholders to come to a table and address this issue of hike in gas prices. We need the gas price to be regulated.
Meanwhile, the federal government has reportedly initiated a process to resolve challenges bordering on the supply and pricing of liquefied petroleum gas in the country's domestic market. You're listening to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. Let's take a breather and then bring you more stories from our foreign, sport and entertainment scenes. Do stay with us.
Healthy living begins with the choices one makes. Choosing to live healthy is the first step to healthy living. Join us Sundays 1:30 to 2 p.m. for Healthway, awareness for healthy choices.
Thanks for staying with us. On the foreign scene, the UN humanitarian agency, UN OCHA, has said that the debt toll from Somalia ongoing floods has risen to 110. The agency added that more than 1 million people have been displaced and 2.4 million people impacted across 36 districts. UN OCHA also warned of a high risk of disease spread following a report of suspected cases of cholera and acute watery diarrhea in the state of Heshabel and Galmudug. The agency said only 30% of those impacted have received help, but at least 37 boats have been deployed to deliver supplies or evacuate those trapped by the flood water. In sport, Barcelona beat Atletico Madrid as Joao Felix scored the only goal for the game against his parent club. The Portuguese forward on a season-long loan from Atletico dinged the ball over Jan Oblak from a wide angle in the 28 minutes. Memphis Depay went close to an Atletico equalizer against his old club, but his free kick was tipped on the frame of a goal by Inaki Pena. Barca could have won by more had Robert Lewandowski taken some great chances. Regaining champions, Barcelona move above Atletico into third place in La Liga, but they sit 4 points off the top two, Real Madrid and Girona. Still in football, Nigeria forward Sadiq Umar is thrilled to hit top form again after his struggles with injury. Recall that Sadiq sustained a cruciate ligament injury in September 2022 and missed the remainder of the campaign. The 26-year-old has been gradually eased back to action by his La Liga club, Real Sociedad, this season. The striker has scored 2 breathtaking goals in his last 2 games for Real Sociedad. Sadiq said he's getting better and hopes to do more as the season goes on. On our entertainment news, South African singer Tyler Lara Sithal, also known as Tyler, has revealed that she had a tough time convincing her parents to let her make music. She said her parents were against her decision to become a musician because they do not consider music as a job. The Waters singer said her parents eventually gave in after she cried for days. It's been the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo, but before we go, a recap of the major stories. The presidency has said only a handful of 1,411 Nigerian delegates who registered to attend the COP28 climate summit in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, was sponsored by the federal government. Charge d'Affaires of the United States Embassy in Nigeria, David Green, has said both countries are working closely as parties to strengthen security and ensure stability in West Africa. Advocacy group Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP has faulted plans by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to spend 15 billion naira on a befitting residence for the Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. On the foreign scene, we told you that the UN humanitarian agency UN OCHA has said that the death toll from Somalia ongoing floods has risen to 110. In sport, we reported that Barcelona beat Atletico Madrid as Joao Felix scored the only goal of the game against his parent club. For coverage and comment of your newsworthy event, call our newsroom on 0812-770-2940. Visit our website on planet101fm.ng and follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at planet_101fm. Also like our Facebook page at Planet101FM. Uyo. The news was edited by Isaiah Udo and Jane Uwa. As we end the news, the dangers of abduction and kidnapping continue to remain our central message as we fervently pray and work towards the release of captured core members of Akwa Ibom extraction. I am Rachel David White. Good afternoon.
Do you need a great hotel in the heart of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State for lodging, events, and relaxation?